I was at the gym this morning. Got this message on my Instagram. I have a problem with the whole serving woman thing. I served one woman for almost 20 years and she ruined my life. I just can't get on board with anything that promotes serving women after what they've done to me. So I told this guy what he needed to hear, and that is, I guarantee you are a happy wife, happy life kind of guy. I guarantee you're the kind of guy who tried to make his wife happy and smile without regard to his own feelings, his own priorities, building himself and being his own person. I said, I bet you tied your identity to what your wife thinks of you. And whenever guys live their life to please their wife, they turn into followers. It's not a healthy relationship for a man and woman. From what I've seen, guys ruin their marriages and then rescue their marriages by becoming leaders and strong. You need to fix you, but you also can't hinge your life acceptance and self-love and respect based on what your wife thinks of you. You have to be your own man. Hey everyone, I got this message from a guy this morning who wanted to book a call with me, and I have to read it to you. This is what the whole call is going to be on, because this has messed up many, many guys. I had just had our Brotherhood call from Men of Fire. We just talked about this and a lot of other things. And it's the concept of serving your wife. And I'm sure you've heard me speak about this or other people. And there's a massive difference between some guys' interpretations of what that means and mine. And I'm going to go over that and what it means to be a selfless leader versus a weak, selfish taker in your family. And this guy's message to me perfectly summed up what many guys feel, struggle with, and the pain they've been through and how they allow it to control their lives. So, I was at the gym this morning. Got this message on my Instagram. So it said, I've got a call scheduled for Friday at 8 a.m., but I need to cancel. I really like pretty much everything about your program. It seems really excellent, but I have a problem with the whole serving woman thing. I served one woman for almost 20 years and she ruined my life. I served another one for 4 years, and she did the same but worse. I just can't get on board with anything that promotes serving women after what they've done to me. Every other aspect of your program seems amazing, but I don't want to waste your time. So I left him some voice messages to speak the truth to him. And what I've learned is that I have zero control over what people say to me, over what their reactions are to me, but I have to give them the truth. I go to bed with regret if I think I told somebody something they want to hear instead of something they need to hear. So I told this guy what he needed to hear, and that is, number one, his definition of serving and mine are completely different. His definition is colored by his poor experiences. He's allowing 2 bad experiences to affect the rest of his life. He's also empowering these 2 women to control him for the rest of his life. It's exactly the same as if a guy says, I hated my father, so because of that, I'm going to live my life in opposition to him. Everything I do is going to be the opposite of what my father does, which means every decision you make, you're going to run through your internal filter of what did my father do? I'm going to do the opposite. Which means the memory of your father is controlling 100% of your current life decisions. So who's in control of your life? Is it you or is it your father? Your father's still in control of your life. This guy is empowering these 2 women that hurt him to control the rest of his life. He's saying, because they hurt me, every future decision I make involving women is going to be run through this filter of what happened to me in the past. Instead of saying, this is my vision for myself, this is the man I am, this is what I stand for, I'm going to do this. He's allowing these women to control him. That's part of the issue. I also said, I don't know you, but I guarantee you are a happy wife, happy life kind of guy. I guarantee you're the kind of guy who tried to make his wife happy and smile without regard to his own feelings, his own priorities, building himself and being his own person. I said, I bet you tied your identity to what your wife thinks of you. And because of that, what do you know? It didn't work out too well. You breeded resentment with your wife. You felt weak, unconfident. She didn't want to marry a weak, unconfident man. Relationships probably started to crack apart. You probably thought the way to rescue it was to be a people pleaser and do everything you can to make her happy, when the thing that was making her unhappy was her husband not being confident, independent, and being a leader. She wanted to marry a leader. She didn't want to marry a follower. And whenever guys live their life to please their wife, they turn into followers. It's not a healthy relationship for a man and woman, in my opinion, from what I've seen. Guys ruin their marriages and then rescue their marriages by becoming leaders and strong. It's one of the things we do. It's one of the reasons why guys join Men of Fire. What I help them with is, my marriage is crumbling. We haven't had sex in 2 years. We're getting distant from each other. My wife is like, I need to fix something. And it's always not an external problem. It's an internal problem. You need to fix you. You need to be a leader. You need to build yourself. You need to become a lighthouse, as we say, so you attract people to you. But you also can't hinge your life acceptance and self-love and respect based on what your wife thinks of you. You have to be your own man. You have to love and respect yourself despite what everyone else thinks of you. Because if you live your life to please other people, you are nobody. You have no identity. If every decision you make in your life is run through the filter of, I hope my wife doesn't get mad at me, I hope this pleases my wife, I hope she approves of me, if that is your perspective, then who are you? You're just a people pleaser. You're just a yes man. You're just a chameleon who changes what he believes in based on other people's reactions to him. You have no soul. You have no identity. You're just you're a shapeshifter. You must stand for something. So this guy was trying to sound strong, but really it just reeked of weakness. He didn't sound strong to me. He sounded like a weak, suffering man who spent his life shape-shifting and trying to change who he is to please his wife. And what do you know? It didn't work out. And she resented him for it. And then that relationship didn't work out. So he probably in a second relationship said, well, I'm going to try even harder to make this woman happy. So he just abandoned himself. He told me earlier that he let himself go. He might have been a guy that totally disregarded himself and just kept on pouring into the people around him for what he thought was pouring into them, trying to make them happy, and neglected himself, let himself go. But what they don't realize is that the person that you are is the person your wife is married to, and it's the person that your children get for a father. It's the person that your boss gets for an employee, or it's the person that your employees get for a boss. It's the friend your friends get. Like an unconfident, undisciplined man who lets himself go is one kind of husband to your wife. A confident, disciplined man who's building himself and goes after life and stands for something is another kind of husband to your wife. Which one do you want to be? Your wife does not want a sniveling, weak guy who's chasing her coattails trying to make her feel good. But that's the way some guys treat their wives, and a lot of it can be traced back to the relationship they had with their mother, constantly trying to please the mother. That's why whenever you're a parent, if you develop a relationship with your child, which is, I will only show you love and affection based on you achieving this thing, you develop that kind of future relationship between your child and their partner. Because they think love is dependent on achievement. They think I only get love if I do this certain thing. So whenever they're an adult, They are constantly trying to get love by doing a certain thing, by shape-shifting and changing who they are. It's very, very dangerous. You've got to monitor yourself. You've got to monitor your partner to make sure you're not treating your children like that. But then you've got to realize that if that is you, is this the man I am? Is this the pattern in relationships I have between me and my wife? If so, time to stop. She doesn't want it. You don't want it. You're killing yourself. You're killing your relationship. You must stand for something. So I took some notes because, like I said, I did this on our Men of Fire call, went through this and some other points, but this was the main message. Basically he's saying the women ruined him. No. And I told this guy, I said, you ruined your relationship. You ruined your life by you being weak, by you people pleasing and having no personal standards and not standing for anything. You allowed this to happen. You can blame other people as much as you want, but you need to take ownership for your situation. Yeah, it sucks right now. Yeah, I know. But you can either accept that and do something about it, or you can live the rest of your life with other people controlling your decisions and continue to blame somebody. Whenever you blame other people for your problems, you're abdicating your own power. You're saying, I have no control over my life, they do. That's what you do whenever you blame other people for your problems, or blame the weather, or blame your boss, or blame external circumstances. You're abdicating all the power you have and saying it's other people's fault. I have no control over my life. So why do you feel weak? Because you're blaming other people. Why do you feel powerless and hopeless? Because you just said you have no control over your life. They are the ones controlling you. You want to take your power back? You want to feel confident? You want to feel strong? Take ownership over the consequences of your life, not just the positive things, the negative things too. You can't just take the positive results and ignore all the negative consequences. Ownership is taking all of it. It's like Jocko talks about, complete ownership. So take ownership of your failed marriages, your failed relationships, which you have to do. So and I also told him, there is a massive disconnect between what we consider serving our wife. Okay, I do not mean servitude. He sees the word service and he looks at his past 24 years of marriage because he was a servant. He was in slavery. I'm not talking about servitude. I'm talking about service. Leadership versus servitude. I'm talking about selfless leadership, not servitude to another person. What he was doing was participating in servitude. That's different. That was a choice he made. Your interpretation of that word is what's happening right now. Your negative interpretation of the word based on your own negative life experiences. It's like when I make content, everyone views the content through their own lens. When I say, if I said, I know what you did today. Say that was the only post I made. You went on the Rising Father Instagram. That was the post you say, I know what you did today. Some of you would be like, hell yeah. Chris knows I crushed it today. Others of you would say, uh-oh, he knows what I did. Every word you read is filtered through your life experiences of today. So for him, serving your wife means 25 years of hell. It's like whenever I made that post saying having loud, messy, crazy kids is a good thing. For me, I'm thinking like my kid's running around, jumping on my lap. Other people are thinking of the kid taking a sledgehammer to the window. It's like, okay, you remembered this morning of when your kid destroyed your house. I remembered my daughter jumping into my lap when I was trying to get some work done. Two different interpretations. Servitude versus leadership. Leadership is developing yourself into somebody so strong and dependable your family can rely on you. This is a conversation I had with a guy over a year ago who came into our group. We have a daily checklist we do. It's a habit that we do so that we can focus on the things that we want to. Focus on being a better husband, father, man. And it's not just something we journal about. It is an act of service to ourselves and our family that we do every single day to prove to ourselves that that's what we're focused on. We just every day. All right, we did the checklist. We did these things. One of those things is we say, let's do an act of service for your wife. So that can be, for me, I do the dishes. Sometimes I'll clean the kitchen. I'll fix something. I just make sure that I do something every day in that lane so that I could hit my checklist. It's important to me. It's like journaling every day. It's like eating your vegetables every day. It's like, oh, I do it. I'm not doing this for a pat on the back. I'm not doing this for appreciation. I don't tell my wife, hey, did you notice I did the dishes this morning? I don't need that. I'm doing it because it's a habit. I'm doing it because I want to prove to myself this is who I am. I don't know if I'm sure I've given this example before, but it's just a perfect example. In Japan, some business people have this habit of cleaning their toilet, cleaning the toilets in their house every single morning. They're not doing it because they're servants. This is like a wealthy business person habit. They do it to encourage humility within themselves. They do it to encourage to be blessed with finances. They think if they humble themselves and kill their ego every day, they'll be blessed with more wealth. They don't do that and then say, hey, honey, do you notice I did that? They're doing it because that's the person they want to be. They want to be humble. They want to lead in that way. In Jocko's book, to bring him back, talking about complete ownership, he talks about that. He's like, a leader is a person that is the one in the bathrooms cleaning the toilets. A leader is the first to arrive, the last to leave, the one who isn't afraid to get on the floor and scrub the ground. He's not looking for a pat on the back. He's not looking for appreciation. That's what being a leader is. It's building yourself into such a strong, dependable man that your family feels safe with you, that your wife is freed up to be feminine, to be free, to have sex again, to flirt with you again, to be passionate again, and the burden of the house isn't laid on her shoulders. That's what being a leader is, being that dependable, being the lighthouse. That's what serving your wife is. It's taking the burden of the family and putting it on your own shoulders, because that's what a man is. Relationships where it's happy wife, happy life, I'm going to please my wife, end up being codependent and end up putting the burden on your wife, and she ends up leading, which should not be the relationship. It leads to a toxic atmosphere. Leads to a guy who's scared, pretending to be something he's not, when inside he's frustrated and like, this is not the man I want to be. And he lives with that every single day and it eats away at him. It can change. It has changed for many guys. They've gone through that change. And they build themselves slowly and surely, habit by habit, perspective by perspective. So I said a strong leader builds himself to a point where his family can lean on and depend on him. This is a service. This requires a strong, disciplined man. Serving your wife doesn't mean she says, Chris, take the trash out, and you say, okay. If Sarah said that to me, there'd be an issue. Just this morning, I had to have a conversation with her about something that she did in one way, and I was like, no, this isn't the way I want us to do it in this house. And then we had a conversation about it. Leadership means you can be depended on and your opinion is respected. It's not being told what to do. So to recap, this guy's wives didn't ruin his life. He ruined his life. He still can change it. He can still change everything about what's happened to him. But by being weak and not standing for something, he allowed other people to take control of his life. By trying to please other people, he stopped caring for the one person he must look after first, which is himself. Whenever you allow yourself to slip, you give other people a ghost. What do you stand for if you live your life to please other people? You stand for nothing. You're just a wisp in the wind. You must build yourself. You must build your identity, your self-worth, your self-confidence. You must believe in things. You must look in the mirror and love who you see on the outside and the inside. Don't listen to anyone else who says different. You need to love the way you look, the way you feel confident, feel that fire again. You allow yourself to crumble, expect to feel like shit. Expect to feel depressed, anxious, stressed. This is how you can build that fire once again, is by building yourself from the inside out, habit by habit. Do not hinge your identity on anybody. Do not hinge your self-worth on anybody else. Prove to yourself who you are today. This is my message for that guy and for you.